All right, so I've been pretty vocal about my opinion about add-ons and stuff like that, and I think there's definitely a lot of room for what do you call it? Compromise between the mods, the game devs, and how they will go about add-ons. Um, Again, UI stuff, in my opinion, are fine, and base UI should just be what the UI is with add-ons. Boss like raid mechanics, PvP, auras and stuff like that, stuff that make the game. Listen to this: if you don't use this, you will have a very hard time being a top tier player in any one of the three categories: Mythic Plus, Rating, and Arena. However, because of that, you're also forced to use them. So that's the problem, right? It's like with PvP, you have to use these add-ons, and it's like, imagine, like, I don't know, like, I don't think that's a good thing. I think the base UI should be enough for people, just their spatial awareness of players casting, and buffs, debuffs, duration, stuff like that. It is asking a lot of the player to remember it, and weak auras make it a lot easier. And like big debuffs and stuff like that does make it easier, but I feel like that should be a part of your skill. So for example, League of Legends, there are no add-ons, but you kind of know, if you played long enough, you kind of know the cooldown of certain champions. Like for example, if I'm facing a Fizz, I know approximately when his next jump will be. Like if he jumped, like let's say he dashes at me, and then he jumps away, I should know approximately how much time I have to do something or to not do something, right? So before his jump is up, before he can be invulnerable. Same with like Lux. If Lux misses an ability, especially her snare, that's time to fucking go at her, right? Shit like that, which is like, you don't really have that in WoW, and you have the add-ons to tell you these things. So, yeah, but let's see how the add-on scene is changing by Bellular Clips.
The new CurseForge API and the standalone client that doesn't involve Overwolf. So
add-ons are a different world now. Slightly.
This major enough. Okay, so first thing, people did not like having to get the Overwolf overlay in order to use the Curse client.
True.
There's now a
That was annoying.
standalone client, so that's good. Now it's still, like, I don't want to say they railroad you, but they still do want you to use the overlay.
Oh,
but
yeah, that's the major change here. Is now if you want add-ons from CurseForge, you have to use a CurseForge client, or you can just download them, but also you need the CurseForge client. You can't use
In
Azure,
whatever.
you can't use WoAP.
Yeah,
that stuff doesn't have access to it anymore. It's literally just CurseForge or nothing.
Yeah. So overall, then with the API, basically in the past, so obviously Overwolf acquired CurseForge stuff.
Yeah.
Overwolf obviously is a business, right?
Oh, is it? I have no idea. I thought Overwolf was under CurseForge, not the other way around.
To make some money, we also ideally would expect them to want to deliver some value in return for that money, which would include development of the API, development of the client, and any developments in business model and things like that. And I think the one major development they had made was a profit share with add-on creators.
Yeah,
now
great.
Yeah, that's great
in theory. Yeah.
That's actually pretty
Because
cool.
if you think about it, if there wasn't a profit share, then I guess any of the monetization of this would just go straight to Overwolf, and the add-on people wouldn't get anything.
Yep.
Right?
Fair enough.
Just having a little donation button is not enough. So that is a good thing, and I suppose I just have absolutely no idea how much an add-on would possibly even make from something like this. If you're an add-on dev and you want to reach out either in a more public fashion or in confidence, and we won't say anything.
CurseForge is free,
or you
so
don't want to say anything specific, and we'll just say, it's generically in this bracket. Do let us know. Generally, it'll pop up in our armor video. Oh, yeah. I think that the idea of paid mods for games actually is something that could have tremendous potential, because then you don't have to rely on Bethesda to make a fully featured, polished, like AA, AAA quality expansion to Skyrim
I mean, you
anymore.
can't rely on them to do that already,
Right? 'Cause, you know, it's like you
regardless
build
of
the
mods.
platform, then the economy stuff happens. Think about it with Steam. Steam
Um,
comes along,
see.
now self-publishing a game is way more popular, and because the platform exists, it helps spur on the actual, you
Oh.
know, the sort of market, in this case of indie games, that pops up in and around that. This is
On
also
the
a
wrong
key
one,
thing
yeah.
in, say, the Roblox IPO and the big valuation that they've got, which obviously is a lot of criticism you can sort of level at that. But fundamentally, if somebody can make a really good WoW add-on and they can actually earn some revenue for that, and maybe that lets them decrease, because think about the impact that person is having on the world. You know, maybe they're doing something that they don't have any passion for and they're only doing it for a paycheck, and then it turns out the little side thing, doing a WoW add-on that can suddenly pay for their rent. Maybe they can drop their hours in the other thing, put more work into the add-on. You can apply this to any other video game out there. I think that fundamentally is a good thing, because then that person is able to allocate their time into what they are the most, A, the best at, and B, like the most passionate and fulfilled by. So I think that fundamentally is a good thing, allowing people to support themselves by doing really cool work like this. So I'm very much pro all of that.
Yeah,
and that's a good thing
yeah.
from Overwolf. However,
Yeah.
there's the user sides that were obviously not ideal. That's one thing. And in addition to that, I suppose a problem here where, you know, they let other services use their API. So they're just providing add-on distribution for free for an open source bit of software or something like that. So in their head, it's like, right, we don't make any money from this. Our creators don't make any money from this. It taxes our servers. Why are we doing this? So that's why there's API version 2 that does actually have external things in a approval list. But generically speaking, it does mean that if you're using WoW, it's not going to be hooking into CurseForge anymore. But it still is going to be able to use Wago, which of course is where people will know to go for their weak auras, or GitHub.
Yeah. Also, they have their own stuff as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So that is basically the situation there. I think overall, look, this is generally a good development, and the reason why I say that is number one, for the add-on creators, if they want to go in CurseForge and just do the thing that gets them paid from doing that, they get to do that, so they can opt in or out into whatever way of distribution they want for their add-on, which is like their right, it's their add-on. It also provides some stability and clarity in the overall scene. Yeah. This means if you want to go this way and not use the Overwolf overlay, you can do that.
It's pretty smart by CurseForge, not only because they're paying it's the massive incentive for add-on for the mods, add-on mods, whatever they're called, modifiers, moderators, I don't know, to make money off this, but also this would make them not use the competition like WoW or I don't know what GitHub is, but whatever, WoW and stuff like that. If CurseForge can actually have monopoly in a sense on all these mod makers and stuff like that. Like, why would you post on WoW if you can make money on CurseForge?
If you know you want to use Azure or WoW or something, personally, I use WoW as an example.
Yeah.
Then you can just
use
WoW. You can make your choice,
was shit.
And I guess we just.
Well,
the lay of the land is more settled.
Yeah, the problem is that right now you can't make your choice because, as an example, WoW has access to absolutely fuck all, basically.
Yeah.
You know, DBM and WoW. No, sorry, it's a CurseForge. That's where you go to get it.
Yep.
That's the thing where users. This is ostensibly, ideally, if all pans out well as intended, this is better for the overall scene and for the people making it. But that inherently comes with a user disadvantage. Yes. So users are going to be, and fairly rightfully.
Well, disadvantage right now, but if CurseForge monopolizes it, it's actually good for the user because they need to go to only one source to get all of their add-ons.
Generally pissed off because they're taking the downside. But that's the thing where it's always this kind of incentives. Devs, platform users, not everyone can be super happy all the time. There's, if for one to gain, it has to be taken from somewhere else. Because I think that's kind of the rub of it, and I don't know. I definitely
DBM is on Wago.
Is it on WoW? Is it interesting?
Wago has a lot.
Yeah, I had Wago and I couldn't find it.
No,
I
Wago
couldn't
is
find
only
it 'cause
weak
I wanted
hours.
to make sure I wasn't talking shit when I said that. So I did check that yesterday, unless it's been updated since literally yesterday. But it's a case of we're in this realm where
What does Wago
it's
stand
getting more
for?
platform
Weak
controlled,
auras.
and that's going to feel worse for users generally. Not massively worse. You can just
Get
go around it, you
over
don't
wolf.
have to pay anything, just maybe some ads. But then obviously people are worried, well, when does that mean, a paid one shows up with a sub and then you get your updates from DBM a week early? That's obviously pure conjecture and almost certainly never going to happen. But it's not like things are changing and they're not changing in the user's favor in a noticeable, immediate way.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the add-on scene is changing, this is not what I had in mind. I don't think this really matters. I mean, is it worse for the user? Yeah. Is it substantial? No. It's like, who cares kind of thing. As someone who had a lot of add-ons for a while, I had CurseForge, Overwolf, I had WoWup, and I used to go to the Wago website for weak auras and stuff like that. Like, I don't think this is like gonna change anything unless it's one add-on. What do you call it? One clan that can have all the add-ons, and I think that would be best.
And I think it's awkward.
I think long-term stability is good, and I think the situation was always going to be untenable for
Yes.
Overwolf.
For Overwolf, yeah, absolutely.
And if it's untenable for them, then it means that they're going to do something with it.
Yeah.
And I think while that lack of clarity on what the lay of the land is going to be, like while that was going on, it was just kind of not ideal for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose there you go. Now we know.
Yeah, it is definitely particularly awkward. Remember when M+ routing was impossible for a moment while it costed money to work? And then the users adapted and there was feedback and that problem was solved. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, you're right to ask, citation needed on the fact that premium stuff will not happen. For me, that's very much trust in the community, where if someone is like, this is taking me too much time to develop, I'm going to ask for money for it, then the feedback that won't work for people will get through.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll either, maybe they'll remove it from pay and ask for like Patreon donations or something instead, or someone will develop an alternative that's better or does the same job without that paywall. As to whether that's the right thing to do or not, it's irrelevant. It's about what the user's experience is and how the community adapts as this like overall thing. So I mean, definitely there'll be people who will ask for money for stuff, 100%, and the right to do so. But if you don't want to pay for it, you don't.
And I mean, as soon as you put money into it, it's
that's a gap in the market for someone else to come in and do it for free. It's very
shit
awkward.
can go
Whenever
bad.
You look at,
Let's just say it like that.
Look at
like you'd never want to mix.
Because obviously, bring up the Skyrim scene and be like, well, I went to shit
money with passion.
That's execution problem, not necessarily a principal problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. People will always use that Skyrim example to try to be angry at the principle. Yeah. And you're totally right. That was an execution problem. Yeah. Something like that requires a lot of oversight, management. The laissez-faire style of Valve is fucking not that. Right? Like whatsoever. Yeah. So I guess it's the sort of thing, like, I know people want shit for free. I get that. Yeah. But and for WoW, I don't think there's ever going to be paid add-ons. Like, there are some, I guess. Now, technically, there's some iffiness as to whether that's okay. I'm fairly sure that is just not allowed by the, not allowed by the terms of service or anything like that. And we're talking about this. I'm talking about that revenue is generated via advertising and stuff like that on Overwolf, and I believe it's just that the...
this is really not the video that I thought this would be.
Add-on creators.
Why does this matter? Let's do this. Why does this even matter? What's your thoughts on add-ons now? This has nothing to do with add-ons. This is like about the clients. My thoughts on add-on do not change or not even get challenged by this video. I think this is one of the worst takes they have ever had. Add-ons should not be paid or profitable unless directly contracted by the IP holder. I agree. Intellectual property laws alone are enough to avoid this, not to mention the practical mess. Third parties are not supposed to directly profit off someone else's IP, and add-ons or mods do not fall under fair use because they literally hold no value without the IP. True. If they're essential, make them part of the game and stop relying on third parties to make them. If they aren't essential to the game, they're ruining the raids by bouncing around them. Huge no to all of this, and the fact you're trying to say it's a good idea to allow paid mods just means you lost sight of what the fuck mods were even used for. If Blizzard lets people make mods to improve their game, their own game, because the game allows it only for said mod makers to start wanting money to make said mods, means Blizzard needs to fix their damn game from the start instead of taking on more money for said mods, because Blizzard just expects people to make mods for it. So huge no to all of this. People can make money on a product they already work on, they will. Now imagine that you have to pay for add-ons such as Deadly, DBM, Gladius, well, like pure pay to win then. DBM are a requirement in many PvE guilds. Gladius gives a large advantage in Arena. Battleground enemies gives a massive advantage in RBGs. It would quite literally add yet another element of pay to win to the game. This approach would further divide the player base and actively push some people out of certain activities. Add on to this that a lot of people would look even less favorably, I guess, I don't know, at Blizzard for not adding to the core game, what has been extensively used for literally decades now. Personally, I would rather see a total ban. I would rather see a total ban of any and all add-ons to WoW than see paid add-ons enter the scene. It would be the lesser of two evils. I kind of agree. Yeah.
Get a slice of that in the same
There's
way.
no way they can monetize add-ons, bro. They're gonna get hit with a fucking lawsuit. They're monetizing on someone's IP. It's almost the same as like having. I mean, I agree with the comments. Basically, I'm like reiterating. It's very similar to like people who made private servers and monetized off that. That's how it is. Like that shit is not legal.
If you're using Curse or something like before when that was all. Wasn't Curse own MMO Championship? They did all the MMO
Yeah,
Championship,
yeah.
MMO Champion. They did all the add-on stuff. They were obviously making money from that.
Yeah.
Indirectly making money and directly making money are a bit different. It's like, okay, so like let's say like this: Wowhead is making money off of WoW, yes, right, with ads and stuff like that. But they're not directly messing with the game. That makes sense. The whole purpose of the clients of add-ons plus paying directly to the add-on manufacturers, whatever, like modifiers, is gonna basically make it so Blizzard will have to take action. Like if you're incentivizing add-on makers with money, I'm pretty sure you can't do that shit. It's like if Elden Ring mods. I mean, right now, like Elden Ring mods are already like subject to a ban, right? But if you were monetizing, instant ban. Like it's not like they would probably even take action to make it so that the game cannot be modded or something like that, or like anyone who mods and makes money off it would get sued because like you're taking advantage of someone else's um, property, right? It's like taking someone else's car without permission to give someone a ride and then putting the car back. That shit is illegal. It's still theft, even though you put it back and nothing happened. That's still theft.
So this was just that. Zygor's a 15-month add-on.
Oh yeah, Zygor's level.
Yeah.
The Zygor thing, honestly, in my opinion, Zygor should have been sued long ago. But I think because Zygor was the only one doing it, or like the only prevalent one, I don't think Blizzard like cared enough. But the Zygor guides, in my opinion, are like a very strict violation of what I just said.
I wonder if there's anything there where it's like the add-on is technically free, but then data that is picked up.
I'm pretty sure that's how the Dungeon Tool stuff is going to work as well.
Is going to.
I think it was going to.
Oh well, yeah. No, that was. I remember that drama. That was fucking something.
Yep.
Now another thing for add-ons. Weak Auras version 4.
Oh yeah,
Update.
nested grips. I love Weak Auras. It's such a well-made product. It's wonderful. It's fantastic, and it's ruined the game. No, I don't say that with confidence. That is in fact a joke, but it is definitely an extremely powerful tool.
Yeah, Weak Auras
What is that?
pretty fucking awesome piece of development.
Yeah.
You cannot
It
deny
is.
that. Very powerful. And for the people who do use Weak Auras,
That's
this is
nested
actually pretty
groups.
big because there's nested groups.
Yeah,
So
which is
that
a
will just
massive QL
make-
change.
Yeah, the quality of life and how you manage your stuff, even construct them, is just going to go way, way, way up with this. So there you go. That should be.
Yeah, nested grips and a
That'll
load
be
of
there.
other stuff. There's even one that it was what was it? It was
What's a nest group?
I think it was the message stuff where you can send chat messages to custom targets. I think you always could send chat. I mean, obviously, add-ons send chat messages all the time because you know the chat bubble with your marker from DBM. But I was looking, I was like, holy shit, that is so much. That is so much functionality baked into Weak Auras now, and it's so much so easy to use at the same time. Where I had all these ideas, man, it's like if it can automatically respond to messages,
I was
as
like,
well,
what the
then
hell
you
is
can
that
take
sound? There's a
so
church
much
nearby.
of the organizational work out
The bells are
and make
ringing.
it computational.
Mhm.
Because the example I had was you can whisper so you can choose a specific target to whisper, right? Through Weak Auras. So I was thinking I might be wrong here, but if you wanted to innervate, right, you have a button that's innervate. Because you've got like the group inspect library, you can see other people's cooldowns. Then, and there might even be one that's already like that. But you know, you click your innervate button, and it's a Weak Aura. You click your Weak Aura. Sorry, you click your innervate Weak Aura. It checks for anyone in the group with innervate up, and it whispers them with your name. And then, if they can read chat messages, then they would have a Weak Aura that is just innervate the last target who whispered you asking for an innervate, which would remove the entire, which would be really, really nice and good QL, but it would also remove like the organizational element of that, making it a little bit too strong. And I'm pretty sure there are already ones like that, but they're like manually done with macros as opposed to a Weak Aura based thing.
Yeah.
So that's one possibility. I was thinking of that. Maybe it already exists.
I mean, that's not really needed, is it? Like when you make the raid group, usually, like unless there's like a reason to do a 50-50 split, all the healers, who needs innervate? Healers usually, right? It's like all the healers are usually in one group, and you would have something like a click or like a fast cast or like instant cast, what do you call it, click to cast or some shit for your innervate on that person. So when you click that person with whatever button, it innervates them. I feel like that would be just as hard as having the person who needs innervate clicking on you to get innervated or something like that. I mean, would it? I mean, I don't know. It's like such a minuscule thing. It's not like innervate. It's like the end of the world. It helps, yeah, but it's like, is there anything like? I guess there are other things like asking for a bop or stuff like that. That would be, yeah, that would be a fucking. That's quite the weak aura. It's like instead of like asking for a bop or a freedom, you just whisper on the paladin, and the paladin's weak aura reads the message and sends you either a bop or a freedom, whatever. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that would be fucked.
Talking shit, but
That
it's
would
very
be
much
fucked.
like, God, it's really powerful. It's real strong.
But
Yeah,
if that becomes a
they
thing,
exist
man,
for
the raids are
NPL
gonna be
boosts,
way
yeah, so
harder again.
Maybe it's not new, but yeah. What?
They just
Yeah,
need to
it's
make.
certainly powerful. And this will make it better.
Yeah.
I think it'll
Honestly,
be interesting to see. And I hope Weak Auras like
something
I don't
that
get
can
bored
help
of
the
it, not at
devs
all.
make
No,
a
I think
fight
it's just
challenging enough without what's it called, without that add-ons can't really help with. Remove immunities. Like immunities do not work on boss fights. Like you can have an immunity, but it won't cancel an effect or whatever.
such a powerful tool that maybe Blizzard starts to get a little bit worried about maybe what that could do for their game design and stuff. And Ozros is really having a moment in chat. We have no plans to sell an add-on of
No.
any form, and when we actually were doing a add-on project that I think we invested like a good few £1,000s in.
Jesus
We
Christ.
had absolutely no plans of a paid release or anything like that. So you are indeed getting angry at a shade of your own invention. But I think that's something that people generally do to feel a bit better about themselves.
Yeah.
Gotta rage at something, or else the quiet inside will get loud.
Yeah.
And such.
Also, I think, I guess on a principle level, I think if people want to ask for money for what they've done, I think that's okay. It's also fine if someone else wants to offer that similar thing for free, not the same because IP and stuff.
1 second might be important.
Yeah.
Never
You
mind.
know what?
It wasn't important.
I think we've just got
Just
too old and tired to
borders. The borders are
be
calling.
really angry about things
The
anymore.
borders
I mean,
calling.
like, obviously, if this resulted in a pay-to-win thing from Blizzard's end, then that would be a problem, 100%. But that's where I think the community would be like, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Oh yeah, that's totally
Because
was.
the same, or Blizzard maybe do something about that, because you look at the cheat market. Obviously, that's a massive market. No one likes it. Fuck all of them.
Remember Glider? Blizzard brought down the legal fucking hammer of wrath on them. Remember that? Was it WoW Glider? Oh, I remember WoW Glider. Oh, the videos. He was the big beardy fella. The beard dude who I think he was the one who was promoting or like was the face of the WoW Glider videos.
Yeah.
And I would watch all these as a kid during TBC and Wrath, and it's just, oh, here's a fucking Tauren just autopiloting around the barons. And of course, that's all like paid cheats. The whole paid cheats industry is like so big.
I don't even know what that is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Didn't really get into those videos before.
Yeah.
All stuff.
Okay. Anyway, money is just as nasty. Money and add-ons should not mix. Add-ons are technically a passion project by someone who is passionate about the game and wants to make the game better. It shouldn't be something that is incentivized by money. Yeah. I don't know how this whole modding thing goes. I think they need to do like a hard look about like revisit how they treat add-ons. Look, the thing is, maybe they will once they release their own revamp of the UI or something. Talking with a Parkland survivor about gun control. Is Parkland the school? Oh, it's the convenience store. Yeah, whatever. About gun control. You think removing guns? I'm not gonna get into this. Fuck it. It's like I'm not gonna get into it.